This is Scott from Hallowed Lake. Just going to start a podcast. Wanted to show you how I do that. Very simple. I just started my podcast. So the content is basically just me talking about things in everyday life. It is one of the things that I think is very important that I get across to people who I am, what I believe, and just try to inspire people, to be good people. So through this video, you're going to be sitting in basically as I make a podcast. And I'm planning on 30 minutes. Probably won't be 30 minutes. My brain will probably shut down on me, but that's okay. So anyway, welcome. And as I start this is, it's called Become the Story. And I just put my first thing up yesterday, and I'm not going to put everything on YouTube because a lot of times I'll be driving or I'll be running, and I'm going to make a podcast, and it's going to be an outdoor type thing. I'm inside today, and I just thought I would show you how I'm doing this. Very simple. I use my phone. I use an app. It's called Anchor. I am not in any way affiliated with anything I show you today. This is what I'm using, and pretty easy. Let me get in my phone here. I'm already logged in to Anchor, and I'm ready to record. And basically what you do is you talk, you cover the topics you want to cover, and then you stop it, and then you put music behind it, and let them upload it, and then it'll go straight to Spotify. So if you want to follow me on Spotify, I plan on, I'm taking a trip this next week, and I'm going to put a bunch of stuff on every day, and then I plan on trying to go to maybe Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts, and different places. So my phone's shutting down really fast. But that's what I plan on doing with this. So we'll just get started. And I really don't have an intro or anything yet, but this is where you start. Hello, fellow travelers. Scott. Just wanted to say thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of this podcast. And thank you for allowing me to share a little time with you. Today I want to cover some of the stuff that I talked about yesterday. One of the things that has really made a big impact in my life, and some of this stuff comes from motivational speakers, some comes from books, some of my favorite authors, and I just wanted to share with you these kind of things today, being that it's Sunday. It's Sunday, the 9th of October, by the way. I woke up very early this morning. I'm just sitting in my house. Right now it's in the afternoon. I've been waiting all day to do this, and hopefully it goes well. So stick with me here, and we'll get through it. One of the first things I want to cover, though, becoming the story. I told you how that came to me, but let me express it a little further. The motivational speaker, and I can't remember his name, but if you hear this and you want credit for it, please let me know, and I'll definitely call your name out and give you credit. And if I find your name as I'm listening to more motivational speeches, I will definitely give you the credit for it, because it helped. So it basically, what he said is, you can sit around listening to stories or become the story. And he said it over and over and over. You can sit around listening to stories, or you can become the story. You sit around listening to other people's stories of what they've done, or you can become a story that other people tell. It hit me so deep when he said that. I had never looked at my life as a story that other people would want to be a part of or want to listen to. I've done a lot of things in my life. I've I hate to say it, but I've been a preacher. I have a degree in the field. I've been I worked at Learjet in Wichita, Kansas. I was in the military straight out of high school. I was an MP. I was Colin Powell's bodyguard for 3 years in Frankfurt, Germany as a military police. I hated it. You know what? I got out of the military. I went to work at Learjet and ended up working in the foundry. Very hot work, very hard work. And then I felt a call on my life to go into the ministry. I went to Oklahoma Baptist University. After that, I became a preacher, and I drove from Oklahoma to Midwestern Baptist Theological Seminary in Kansas City, Kansas, 2 times a week to get schooling to further my education because people told me that's what I needed to do. I'll sit here now and tell you that's a bunch of BS. The education system today, it's crap. It is seriously crap. And the things that are being taught, it's frustrating to me. So, but anyway, I drove 2 days a week. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and drive from Oklahoma to Kansas City, go to school all day, drive back home. Wednesday I did homework. Thursday I went back to Kansas City. And then Friday, Saturday, I prepared my message for Sundays and Wednesdays and did my homework. And plus I worked a job, full-time student. And, I did that. I then moved on. Finally, after about 10 years, I stepped out of the ministry, went back into the Army. They wanted me to be a chaplain. I didn't want to be a chaplain. So I went back in to help with the war because all over the news, and you'll see that many times in my life even, I've been led to believe certain things, and it's made me act on things because I'm a man of action. I am not a man that can sit around when everything's going awry around me. So I went back in the military, didn't want to be a chaplain, didn't want to become an officer. So I took up my specialist rank again in the Army, and they threw me right in long-range surveillance, where I spent the majority of the rest of the time in the military at. I was also in the 82nd Airborne, and I was also a drill sergeant. I then decided it was time for me to get out of the Army at the rank of E7 after 15 years. But if you look at my record, it shows 19 and a half years, which was perfect for the administration at that time, so I didn't get my my pay to whatever it's called. I did get disability pay. I am 80% disabled. I walk, I run. Obviously, I'm getting ready to do a 240-mile run. But most of it would be like my back from jumping out of planes, my knees, my head. But anyway, so I've done all that stuff, and then when I got out of the Army, I decided that I was just going to fade away. But of course, God wouldn't let that happen. And so 7 years later now, here I am getting ready to run across Kansas. And I am prepared to make a big impact in the world again. So that's my story. But that's not the kind of story I'm talking about. he said you can sit around and listen to stories or become the story. I don't mind if people tell other people about me. I don't mind if people talk about me. I don't care if you talk about me good or bad. I just want people to know that you have a story. You have a story. My story, most people, the way they want to look at your story in life is the bad things you've done. We are a great culture of always holding the bad against people. Well, I don't live my life like that. There are people I do not like, and I have no problem letting people know I don't like them. And there are people I do like, and I have no problem letting them know I like them. But I try very hard not to hold any grudges. I try to be forgiving. I try to be loving. And 90% of the time, if you ask for help, I'm going to do my level best to help. 10% of the time, I don't care. And I can tell you, if you come whining and crying to me, I will not listen. I will turn around and walk off. Because it's time you get off your butt and do your own thing. Become your own story. Quit living in the past. Stop it. It's ridiculous. It drives me crazy. The past is the past. Do we sail back there at times? Yes, we do. We fall back. But then we pull ourselves up. We pull our panties and our underwears up and our shorts and pants, and we get off our butts and we live. If you're not doing that, then you need to hear this. You need to get off your butt and make a story. Don't live in what used to be the story. Live now. I put a quote on one of my videos on YouTube, Hallowed Lake, Scott at Hallowed Lake on YouTube if you want to follow. But at the end of all these pictures, I put, you have to let go to at some point to move forward. You have to let go at some point, or you will never move forward. Another saying that's really hit hard in our house is, if you're going to fall forward. We don't fall backwards. We don't fall down and stay down. We fall forward. You've got to get up. Quit allowing other people to tell you who you are. And here I am telling you who you are. You're a person that's going to get up. Listen, don't listen. It's up to you. Another statement that struck me very strongly by a motivational speaker, and he's really not a motivational speaker. He actually says, I was brought in here to make language. And he says he's not a motivational speaker. He's just going to tell you what worked for him. Well, Jim Carrey, the comedian, and I'm not going to say great comedian, I'm just going to say comedian, he said, you can fail doing something you hate. So why not take a chance doing what you love? And the reason why he said that is because he looked at his dad and saw how his dad lived his whole life, paycheck to paycheck, just trying to make things meet. And Jim Carrey said, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I can fail at the things I don't like. Or why not just try to do what I love? And one thing I love to do, you would probably say talk, but that's not me really. One thing I love to do is teach and help people and encourage. I can be one of the biggest encouragers in your life. Or I can be the dude that turns around and just walks away, and I'm not going to mess with it. But Jim Carrey's statement impacted me very much. It's one of the reasons why I started this podcast. I thought about it and thought about it and thought about it. Hallowed Lake, my organization, my foundation, is 2 years old in November this year. We haven't raised much money. Last year we did pretty good. I've heard of other organizations not raising as much as we did, and of course I was upset with the money we raised. But this year we haven't tried to raise any money really. We've just been pushing the war run, the run that I'm going to do, 240 miles, December 17th through the 21st of 2022, and I'm preparing for that, and that's what this podcast is going to entail, the most part of it. So you can fail at something you hate. So why not do what you love? And I'm telling you, this podcast, it may not be much right now, and I think I have 3 followers, which are, my friends, and the people I care about, and the people I love, but I just haven't made it known very well. And I'm wanting to get more content on there before I really try to make it go big. So I went to work, and yes, I have a regular job. I went to work and told a couple of guys about the podcast, that I'd started it finally, and one of them said, even before I told him about the podcast, he said, "Hey, I was watching your YouTube thing, and the gear that you're using for the run, it was kind of boring." He said, "I would rather hear your thoughts." And I kind of chuckled, and that got me to tell him about the podcast. I just started yesterday. That was the 8th of October 2022, and I woke up very early in the morning and said, you know what, screw it. I'm going to start this thing. I'm going to get it going. And so now there's going to be something on there every day. But he just said, I would like to hear more of your thoughts. And, well, here it is. This is what this is going to be about. So, I've said all that. Now, like I said in my intro, there'll be some wisdom, there'll be common sense, maybe even be some funny stuff. But let me try to give you a little bit of wisdom and something that I think will help you understand me a little more and who I am. I've told you basically everything I've done in my life, my story up until now. But that's not me. That's not where I'm going. My story now is I am training for the longest run of my life to try to help people understand the needs of veterans in Type 1. I get emotional sometimes. It'll be okay. So, my life right now is trying to figure out how to take this 54-year-old body, which will be 55 the day of the start of the race, how to take this body that I've jumped out of planes with, I've been to war with, I hurt, I pulled my labrum or tore it, just working out, trying to get in shape. I'm dealing with that, so even when I walk right now, my shoulder hurts. But how do I get this old body, 80% disabled, 240 miles? The biggest problem I have is in my own head. It doesn't matter who shows up. It doesn't matter who helps. This is me against that road. And this is what I want. I need that fight. I need to struggle. I need to overcome. And if you are not looking at life like that, yeah, there's a fight. There's a struggle. It's not pleasant. It hurts. It's painful. You cry. You tear up. You I don't care. If people see me cry and they think that makes me less of a man, well, screw you. You haven't been through what I went through. I can tell you this. If more men would teach their children to be open and honest, this world would be a hell of a lot better place. But you can't. You can't. I was taught that. I don't give a crap what you were taught. Change it. It's ridiculous. And then you want to walk around and whine instead of actually just letting it go. You know what? You get mad, let it go. The people you blow up on may hate you for the rest of their life, but who cares? It doesn't do any good to hold that crap in. So, that's one of my rants. I told you there would be some on here, and they'll probably get worse as I get more comfortable doing this. But I am not scared to cry. I'm not scared to tell people I love them. I'm not scared to tell people that they suck and I don't want them in my life. If they are toxic people, stay away. I don't need you, and you don't need me going off on you. So just stay away. It's that freaking simple. So what I wanted to cover, and I'm sorry about the little rabbit chasing, but that's probably what needed to be said. And what I wanted to say or tell you is, what is success to me? What is success? You'll hear all kinds of things in this world. You're going to hear that, making millions of dollars. Well, I'm not rich. I will probably never be rich unless God decides to open the floodgates and just bless me beyond all means. I am not a wealthy man. I make it. I hate the fact that I just make it, but you know what? God has always blessed me and has always taken care of me. So that's where I'm at. What is success? You'll also hear people say a lot of friends, a great job, all this stuff. And if that's you, that's fine. If that's success to you. But success to me is simply being able to sleep at night. That is down, dirty success to me. If I can sleep at night, it's been a successful day. And what I mean by that is, you go through your day, you do things, you live the best you can, you do the best you can. But then you're laying there at night and you think about things, and you start to wonder if you should have handled something different, or if you should have said something different, or if there was something you let set till the next day. Which there are times when I'm very active and I can get everything done in half a day, and but there's other times where it's just not that important. And it may be important to the world, but to me, I don't care. It can sit there until the very end. Procrastination at its best. So, success to me is being able to sleep at night. And what I mean by that is not dreaming, not having bad dreams, not sitting there all night thinking about stuff, not worried about my past, not hurting. A successful day is a good thing. And you wake up the next day and you try to do better than the day you did before. That's success. You want to add all this stuff to your life and call it success. But it simply, was I able to sleep with the way I acted, what I've said, what I've done for that day. That's success to me. Now, according to the Bible, success is being obedient to God, to follow the laws or the rules that God has put out there. And I believe that if you do that, I believe you'll start looking at the whole world different. You just, a lot of people say, I'm a good person. I'm a good person. Well, in your definition, you're a good person, and that's fine. I'm all for that. Be a good person. In my definition, I'm a terrible human being. I fail. But, like I said, I pull my pants up and I walk on. I move on with the day. I wake up every day and I try to tell myself, this is going to be a great day. This is a good day to have a good day. And that's just the way I am. And I put people around me that believe the same thing. I don't like people complaining every day. I can take it every once in a while. I don't like people upset every day. I don't like people always trying to bring other people down. It ticks me off. And if you're in a group where someone is trying to bring you down every day, find another group. Walk away. Sometimes the biggest thing you have to do in life is to get away from those toxic people that try to keep you down. So quit letting them do that. It's ridiculous. It is not your business to succeed, but to do right. When you have done so, the rest lies with God. Let me read that again. It is not your business to succeed, but to do right. When you have done so, the rest lies with God. C.S. Lewis said that, a philosopher from England. He was also a veteran, fought in World War II. I love C.S. Lewis. He's a great writer, a great philosopher. He's passed away now. But, success to me is simply being able to sleep at night. And whatever I have to do to be successful, if I screw up, I make it right. If I didn't know I screwed up 2 days ago and it starts hitting me, then I have to make it right. It's just the way it is. But that's what helps me sleep. One more thing C.S. Lewis said. He said, be weird, be random, be who you are, because you never know who could love the person you hide. And that was C.S. Lewis. Be weird, be random, be who you are, because you never know who could love the person you hide. Be real. Just be you. Don't try to be the person someone else wants you to be. It'll kill you. Slowly, it will drive you insane. Be yourself. Doesn't matter how weird, how silly, how closed off, even though I would encourage you, don't close yourself off. Just be you. And if the people don't like you that you're around, find other weird people like you. Someone will love you for it. I can tell you that some of the craziest and weirdest people I was in long-range surveillance with are some of the people I love the most. I mean, they were crazy. The stuff they would do. Jumping out of planes is a dangerous thing. Well, didn't matter. They were still going to do crazy crap. There are just some of the funniest and greatest people I've ever met. Other people didn't like, and I love them. I love them. The weirder you are, probably the better we're going to get along. I may not jump in with you, but I will sure smile at you and cheer you on. So, what I'm trying to say is this is what's inspired me to start the podcast. This is what's inspired me to try to run 240 miles to help veterans and type 1 diabetes, to bring awareness 22 veterans a day continue to kill themselves. We can't have this. It cannot happen. These children, many of them are children, type 1. A lot of them have grown up and they have fulfilling lives and things like that. We've met a few through the year. But many of these children and their families struggle every day just trying to keep their sugar numbers right. The pancreas has just shut down, and now everything they eat or drink requires some type of action. And I look at that as life. Everything we do requires some type of action. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you go poop, you gotta wipe your butt. It requires action. You going to work requires action. You working requires action. Making a cup of coffee. I mean, the simplest things. You must become a person of action. One of my biggest pet peeves in the world is when someone says they're going to do something and they don't do it. It drives me crazy. And I have come to find out in my 54 years that 90% of the people that say they're going to do something are full of crap. They're lying. They ain't going to do crap. That's why when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. This run, it's going to try to break me. It's going to try to hold me back. There's things that are going to happen. And there are things that have happened. My shoulder, for one. My knees hurt like crazy. My back hurts. I have headaches. I have bloody noses. I have all this stuff. Things are going to try to hold me back. But I am going to tackle this thing. I am going to finish this run. And I hope you will come along. I plan on doing some talks while I'm running. I plan on doing a lot of things. I'm trying to video. If you follow me on YouTube, Scott at Hallowed Lake. Go to hallowedlake.org and just check me out. See what's there. See if you can get behind something like this. So anyway, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for listening. I want to thank you for being a part of this podcast. And as it grows, I hope you know that there will be times where maybe we can figure out how people can call in. Send me an email. You can go to hallowedlake.org and send me an email. And ask questions. I'd be glad to answer them if I can. If I can't answer them, I'll try to find out. Or if I refuse to answer them, I'll tell you why. So, thank you for being a part of it. Remember, one more hill, one more day. Love you, and become the story. So, I did all that recording. It was over 30 minutes, a little over 30. Now, I'm going to go back and add music to the back of it, the underside of it, just as I will do with this as well. I'll put this on my computer. I'll go through it. I'll put music to it in the background to give you a little easier listening. And hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you can see how easy it is. But it's simply going back, putting music to it, naming it, putting a little description to it, and then telling them to publish it. And then as soon as it's done, within 10 minutes, it goes on Spotify. So anyway, thank you. And I hope you know that if you're a veteran, Give me one more day. It's that easy. One more day. Today might have sucked, but there's always tomorrow. And it's going to be a good day to have a good day. So thank you very much. Love you. And stay the course.